Welcome back to Giants Training Camp Live. As always, we're joined by the head coach of the New York Giants, Pat Shurmur, and get a nice test on Friday night as you take on the Jets. What are some of your objectives that you have in this third preseason game?
Well, I think we want to improve on what we did against Detroit. There were some things that went our way. You know, we created a turnover and scored. There were elements of the game I thought that were good. We scored points, which is very important, and then we were able to keep Detroit off the board enough to win by 2 scores.
Do you look at the opponent in this game as far as your preparation is concerned for the game?
We do. I think it's fair to say you're always game planning for an opponent. Sometimes I think it's been said, well, you don't game plan for the preseason, but I think we all, you know, we have things that we want to do in this game that will fit against what they do offensively and defensively and in special teams, and so we're always trying to put our players in a good position.
How important is game planning for a preseason game in order to figure out if the guys that you have in the room understand what game planning is and then go and execute it?
Very important, and I think what we tried to do this week is touch on what our weekly process is going to be. We had 1 week to prepare for this game, so you know, today was a Friday, so we were 48 hours out, so we would do what we typically do on a Friday, and yesterday we did what we did on a Thursday and a Wednesday and so on. And so it's important that they know what the process is so they can prepare themselves mentally for what they got to study and get ready for.
What are you seeing out of your football team as far as from when you guys first reported to now at this point as far as retention of information?
I think it's been good. We have a lot of coaches that are really good teachers, and our players' attention to detail has been good. So there's constantly mistakes being made, but the one good thing is we don't see the mistakes repeated, and our guys have been really good about learning what we want to teach them.
You never seem stressed out. I mean, you know, sometimes coaches like, you know, we only got 8 more practices left and the season's coming. I mean, obviously you feel that anxiety with the season coming. What levels things out for you?
Well, I think we always feel like we're up against it, and I really do think that, you know, we're trying to teach the right things. And I really do believe that with the time allotted, we're going to get our guys ready to play. I'm confident in that. And so whether I feel stressed out or not, I try not to show it. On game day, I got to take my advice a little bit. So every once in a while, I'll get a little animated about what happens on the field. But for the most part, you know, I'm very confident that our guys are going to get themselves ready to go.
How anxious are you to see your young quarterbacks in this game when they get opportunities to kind of take what they did last week and build upon it?
It's really important in the preseason for the quarterbacks to show what they can do. Because once the season starts, you have the starter that you're getting ready to play, and they're working the scout team looks, and you know, you continue to develop them in any way possible. But you know, it's really, really important. The last real look you see for some of these guys until they have to play is in these preseason games. So to your point, it's very important that they're able to go out and execute well and ultimately get us in the end zone.
Communication is obviously huge. James Bettcher's defense requires a lot of moving parts.
Right.
From a communication standpoint, are things coming together the way you would like? And you know, what kind of input do you have on what's going on?
Well, in terms of input, we talk daily about things. There were a couple times in the game the other night where I said, hey, James, pressure him here, you know. And then there were other times where I was waiting to see what was going to happen. But in terms of how we play defense, I'm involved. I mentioned it last week. I trust our coordinators. I trust Mike. I trust James. I trust T-Mac to make sure that we're doing the right things, and then I steer the ship from there.
When you talk about special teams, obviously a key component to everything. You've used a lot of different guys in the return game. What do you want to see for someone who really sees control of that job? Outside of just busting one for a touchdown. That'd be nice.
You like, first of all, the first most important thing for a returner is to secure the football. You know, we force the team to punt, or they're kicking off to us. We have to guarantee that we're going to have the ball at the end of that down. And so that's number one. And then number two, you certainly would like to see the guy be able to gain some yards. You know, I think that goes without saying. And so we're first looking for guys that'll secure the ball, and then from there, the extra yardage they get is really ideal.
Coach, we appreciate the time as always.
My pleasure.